Are you ready for the last explain of 15.1? I think you are. Explain 4, evaluating a logarithmic model. So now we're going to deal with some word problems. So the acidity level, or pH level of a liquid, is found by taking the log of 1 divided by the H plus, or its concentration in moles per liter of hydrogen ions. In a topical or a typical chlorinated swimming pool, so you know those things that people swim in, well, they keep chlorine in it to keep it clean, even though a bunch of people use it. Well, there's a concentration of ions of about 1.58 times 10 to the negative 8 power, and they're trying to compare these two and just kind of see what the range is as far as pH level goes. Okay, so it ranges somewhere between this many moles per liter and this many moles per liter. So we're going to kind of evaluate the same equation twice. Here I'm going to write pH equals log 1 over 1.58 times 10 to the negative 8 power. And so that I can only use my Desmos calculator once, I'm going to write down some of the values so that we can do the calculation on the other screen for Desmos. And we're also going to compare that to, again, pH equals log 1 over 6.31 times 10 to the negative 8 power. So we're going to calculate what this value actually is as a decimal and then figure out the log for that. Same thing here. Alright, so we're opening up Desmos one more time. Alright, so let's figure out what 1 divided by 1.58 times 10 to the negative 8 power would be. So that's a really big number. That's like a really big number. Okay. I'm going to keep that in mind and write log. So again, under function key, log. And yes, we're going to have to type in that number, but wait, do I really need to? No, I don't. I actually can, there's this little button called answer, or ANS. You can actually click that there. And what it's going to do, oh, thank you so much, calculator. It's going to actually calculate our pH value for us. Like I said, I wanted to keep all of our calculations for this part and this part, so we're going to go ahead and press enter. Keep that there so we can record them later. And we're going to go ahead and type in 1 divided by 6.31 times 10 to the negative 8 power. And they give us this value. That's a huge number. Alright, I'm going to keep that in mind. We want to find the log, so again I'm going to go to function, log. Instead of writing that whole number, because we might make a mistake, let's write answers. That way it'll take that value. And it found our pH level for us. How awesome! So keep these numbers in mind. We're going to write this on our paper and move on to letter B. So I'm just going to write an estimate, but that was about 15,800,000, which is about 7.2. Oh, sorry. I wrote that in the wrong place. That should be about 15,800. 15,800,000 and 7.2. Let me go ahead and amend that really fast. So that should be, make sure you're putting the numbers in the right place, guys, just so you know. Alright. So that would also be for this one. That would be about 63,300,000. And that was yielded a log, or a pH level of 7.8. So that means the pH level ranges from 7.2, so about 7.8. Awesome. Let's go on to part B. So here, there's a certain type of bacteria used to turn milk into yogurt. Delicious. the population P of a colony of 350,000 bacteria at a time t in minutes can be modeled in the function P of t equals 3,500 times 2 to the t divided by 73 power. How long does it take the population to reach almost 2 million? Well, 1,792,000. So first things first, we're going to write the model down. Next thing we're going to do is there's a 3,500 being multiplied. So what's the opposite of multiplying? Dividing. So we're going to divide both sides. Probably wondering what happened over here. Well, remember, they'll cancel out. All right, so it says rewrite the log in logarithmic form. So remember, we wrote 2 as our base. Right, so log base 2 to the, or times P divided by 3,500. All right, so I have T over 73. I want to get T by itself, though. What's the opposite of dividing? Multiplying. All right, so that's going to cancel out, and I'm left with T equals P over 3,500 times log base 2, 73. Now this is just step 1, so let's do step 2. And let's use that. So this was again P over 3,500. So since my P value is actually 1,792,000, I'm going to put that instead of P. And we can actually figure out what this is using our Desmos calculator. So let's go ahead and work out what this would be. And then let's figure out what the log base 2 is that for that. And we'll figure out our final answer. So let's go ahead and open up our Desmos calculator one more time. All right, let's figure out what 1,792,000 divided by 3,500 would be. So it's about 512, so keep that in mind. So we're going to use that there. We also want to find what the log base 2 is of 512. So let's go ahead and work that out. So again, we have log, okay. Now notice here they don't really give us the option to write because every log is actually always base 10, but we want a log base 2. So since that's not available to us, we know that it's base 2. So let's see, 2 to what power would get us 512? So I'm going to start kind of high. I'm going to say 2 to the 4th. Oh, how about 2 to the 6th? Getting closer. 2 to the 2 to the 8th. Almost. All right, how about 2 to the 9th? And we see here that 512 is the same as 2 to the 9th power. So right here we're going to write 9 in for that one. And then last but not least, let's actually, since all these guesses were wrong, I'm going to go ahead and clear this one. And clear this one. Now let's see if I can actually move some of these around. Can I? No, I thought we could, but no, we can't. All right. Well, last but not least, I'll write in what 73 times, since we got 2 to the 9th power, so that'll be 9. And that would be 657. Okay, so in about 657 minutes, and since they're going to ask us to write this not only in minutes, but in hours. How many minutes are in an hour, by the way? Well, there are about 60 minutes in an hour, guys. So that would be about 10.95 or about 11 hours. Okay, so let's go ahead and record some of our results here onto our paper here. So that would be about 5, 1, 2. We figured out that would be 9 because 2 to the 9th power. And when we multiply this together, that would be 657 minutes. So in about 657 minutes, or when we divided that by 60, we got about 10.95, which is really about 11 hours. You're probably wondering, why do you divide by 60? Because there's 60 minutes in an hour, right? Alright, so just like it says here, stop here, do the explain for, and we'll go back to go over the homework. Alright?